I have never had a problem with sleeping. No matter what would go on in my life, I would always be able to sleep, and sleep hard. That changed with the hurricane. For 10 days, I couldn't sleep, and neither could anyone else around me. All I could think about was how the house shook during that 2-hour eye wall, how the window panes bounced in and out like moving funhouse mirrors, how I looked out to my street and saw only white, like Hurricane Michael was actually the archangel and he was sweeping his wings over us to see if we would break. With all our modern technology, we could not predict this storm. I went to bed the night before expecting to comfortably ride out a Category 2, maybe a Category 3 storm. I awoke at 7 a.m. the day of to the realization that a storm 3 miles per hour below a Category 5 was coming. It later did turn out to be a Category 5 storm. Trees who have stood and seen 100 storms before could not withstand this one. Giant oaks standing as sentries over Bay County for generations bowed down to Michael. Pine trees split in half and lay splintered still on the ground. Magnolia trees, stripped of their waxed leaves and beautiful white flowers, released their best fragrance into the horrifying wind like a sweet offering to an old god. But we could not hear the giant trees falling. No. We heard the wind. As if 1,000 times 10,000 lions were roaring through the sky, carried on large chariots of resounding thunder, Michael deafened the sound of our windows shattering. It was something out of Revelation. You felt fear on the outside of yourself, like you were Michael, looking down on your sleepy town and feeding on the desolation. We say monsters don't exist, but we gave this storm a name and talk of its horrifying eye, a cyclops worthy of a part in Homer's Odyssey. Even while eating dinner with my friends, the name of Michael commanded respect. Over our hamburgers, we would stop whatever sort of normal conversation we were having, and one of us would interject. Do you remember how quiet it was after Michael left? I'll never forget how eerie it felt. Quietest night of my life besides the generators. Yeah, I would agree. I remember. And did your ears pop during the worst? Yeah, like I was on an airplane. These are the details we spun around in our heads as we tried to find sleep in the days after. I took concoctions of medicines you probably shouldn't try. I wanted someone to hit me over the head like Wilma would do to Fred Flintstone. I came back to my home after walking and doing well checks to my husband yelling for me down the road. Sandi, you've been gone 3 hours. Come on, we're getting out of here. 3 hours? Really? It felt like 3 days. But the trees are blocking the road. Our neighbors cut us out. But where will we go? The interstate is closed. North to Alabama. Jessica parked down the road and walked here to us. She is spotting us cash to get us a hotel with her until we can transfer funds. Jessica? In 30 hours, I had almost forgotten I had friends. I had almost forgotten there were people beyond my block who cared about me and my well-being. Michael had this ability to make us forget who we were, where we were, that we all had lives and professions outside of the guy with the chainsaw, or the girl with the AT&T phone, or the neighbor with a ladder. My sister says during the storm 50 miles away in Mariana, she yelled into the oblivion about us. I can't believe they stayed. I swear if they're dead, I'll kill them myself. She couldn't possibly know that the even smaller town where we were both born would be impossibly ripped to pieces too. So far inland, but Michael didn't discriminate. On day 11, I found sleep without medication. Only 4 hours, but still it was sleep. I rolled over, looking at my phone to scroll social media, and saw that the old Sentry was still standing. It's this tree that stands in the middle of a park called Oaks by the Bay. It's the most gorgeous oak I've ever seen. The kind of tree that makes you think of fairies and realms of another time, a landmark of ages past. The sign marking its place reads, "This heritage oak tree is estimated to be over 250 years old. It was standing during the war between the states as if a sentry standing guard over St. Andrews Bay." The over 250-year-old sentry defied Michael. It stood up to the storm of storms and laughed. You'll have to do better than that to take me down. So I laughed with it. I laughed and laughed and laughed until my kids ran in asking what was so funny. "This tree," I said through tears, This tree was absolutely unbothered by Bully Michael. Look at it. It hardly lost a twig. I bet you it didn't lose a wink of sleep over this storm, before or after. I sat back and imagined this tree speaking to each visitor that came to check on its well-being. I have seen wars and rumors of wars. I have survived hurricanes and floods and lightning and thunder. I am old and I am tired, but I have survived because my roots go deep. I felt myself sinking into the bed, a great wave of peace washing over me. Other oaks surrounding the Sentry stand tall, its friends nodding in agreement with their elder. We will survive because our roots run deep. I've slept ever since.